Hi everybody, Cerebra Sana in Paris. It is 8:02 a.m. and I haven't slept for maybe 30 hours or so. I don't really remember the last time I went to sleep. And why? Why have I not slept? Because there's so much going on over here at the moment that this latest thing that kicked in as of Monday has just really thrown me for a loop. I'm sure everybody is aware that country after country is coming out and saying you now have to wear the you know what pretty much everywhere you go. Okay, there's even some places where they're forcing people to wear it outside, outside when you're walking around in life, as opposed to going shopping or going to the bank or whatever. And this thing kicked in to gear on Monday, and it sent me reeling because everywhere I look, I see the people are doing it, and I just cannot understand how A, people are falling for it, and B, how legally this can even be. So I just, instead of going to bed, I finally, a couple of hours ago, finally found the proof I need to be able to go up to these idiots who are going to try to make me put something on my face that's going to get me off the hook. Okay, now I'm going to explain. I started looking into this, into the legalities of this, like I say, as soon as I heard that this thing was happening. I heard about it, I think it was last Thursday. And anyway, so I've just been looking and digging and digging and digging. And just a couple of hours ago, I don't even know how I came across. Oh, yeah, I know. I went on to Twitter just to see what was happening on Twitter before I went to sleep. Okay, because I'm like, I really do need to get some rest here. So I just wanted to take a look onto Twitter very quickly. And I put in mandatory mask, but I put it in French. And the latest tweet that was sitting right there at the top was a link to this video. And the tweet wasn't exactly clear. It looked like he was retweeting something or whatever. And so something about it just said, let me go have a look at this. And it was something like, here's why you don't need the mask or something. And so I started watching it, and I didn't even know who I was looking at. But the way he was speaking, I was getting the feeling that it was a lawyer. And he proceeds to go and explain, literally, you can see it right here, for 46 minutes, he literally explains exactly why they cannot enforce the mandatory mask wearing in all of these shops. Nobody can get fined for it because they're saying if you're caught without a mask or whatever, you refuse, you're going to have to pay 135 euros. And he literally goes through the thing and he shows you why it's all unenforceable and it's all just a big mistake. Yeah, he uses the word error. He also uses the word horror and sort of played with that. So I'm just going to show you. Well, first of all, before I wanted to make this video, I needed to assure myself that the guy was legitimate because, as I say, I'm finding him through some tweet from some anonymous person who happens to be at the top of the list when I connect. So while I was actually preparing my my material for the video, excuse me, I am a little tired, as you may have noticed. I wanted to find out who this guy was, so I did find out who he is, and he is indeed a lawyer. This is his name right here, and I'm not sure whether he's half French or half Italian or whatever, but he's got videos where he's speaking perfect Italian, which I thought was great. So he speaks French extremely well as well. So, and he's based in Paris. So obviously we've got someone who's multicultural and a lawyer and extremely on the ball. So I just wanted to share this with you because it actually gets like a Greek tragedy. It's like, it's comical in a way. in a stupid way. Anyway, so this is the guy that we just saw on his website. This is him, and if you go to the team, there he is right there. Okay, and there's a whole bunch of other lawyers. So this is he's a real lawyer. Okay, and he's got lots of he's done interviews, and I'm gonna have a blast going and looking at all of these other videos that I somehow managed to miss. Anyway, so let's just jump into this very quickly. I cannot make this a long video, obviously, because I really do need to get some sleep. Basically, I found all the decrees, and I went and because to listen to the video, he talks really fast, and he's showing you the different documents, and he's reading from them, and I wanted to have them myself. So I went and I got all of these official documents, and each time he was pointing out, here's where this is, and look at this, and this is the crux of it, right? I was going and highlighting all the different things that he was mentioning. So these are all these different documents, and what we have is we've got these decrees, right, which are the full like rule book, shall we say, and then they issue like a modification to the main decree. So you get like a short document where they say, okay, on line 8 in paragraph 5 we added this, or we took out that, or whatever. So this is the main decree, setting into place the rules for the after lockdown, right? Because this is now that they have unlocked everybody, right? They've unlocked society. Ironically enough, as they're unlocking, they're putting in all these incredibly restrictive, freedom-killing measures and it's not just here in France, it's everywhere around the world that is doing the same thing at the same time. Isn't that amazing? And what a coincidence. So this is the decree that just came out starting Monday. This was the big thing that everyone has been talking about incessantly since like Thursday of last week, where now you're going to have to wear the mask in all the shops, right? Everywhere you go, you have to wear the mask. In stores, this is what we've been told for a week. And so this lawyer was on the case, so to speak, immediately, and he was on it as of Monday. He mentions this in his video. And he took the time to go and read everything and go through it all, and he found why this can't work. And I just wanted to let you guys know, so that maybe if you do the kind of digging that, he did, and then I went and I did, and I double checked it and triple checked it, maybe you've got the same kind of stuff going on. And the first thing that comes up, actually, let me just show you the actual documents, which I have here. I have highlighted for your visual pleasure the key points. So let me just see what we've got here. I put them in order. All right, this document was with respect to the state of emergency. That's what it says here. Okay, but it isn't so much this document that's the real kicker here. It's when we get into, right, this is the decree from July 10th. Okay, July 10th, which is getting us out of the state of emergency. Okay, sortie means getting out, so we're leaving. Okay, we're leaving the state of emergency. So this is the decree that they wrote up in haste and passed over the weekend, and it went into effect on Monday, the 20th. Right, so it says here that this decree is modifying the one from the 10th of July, which is this one. And the one on July 10th was getting us out of the state of emergency, okay, for the health crisis. So what you need to notice is when they're adapting the big decree, they're making reference to these things here, right? These various and sundry articles that are in the Code for Public Health. So he shows you what they are. Okay, we've got this L3131 31-31-15 and L31-36-1. So here's the 31-36-1. Here's the L31-31-15. All right, so we've got that. Those are important. And then we skip down here, and they say that they are inserting. This is the killer line here, folks. This is the thing. It says before the first line in Article 38, this line is inserted and written as follows. Wearing the mask is mandatory in covered markets. Okay, now we live in France here. So a covered market refers to something extremely specific. And this is what he points out. There's actually there's like 3 really crucial points that he points out. And this is one of them. That a covered market is a covered market where you buy the chickens that still have their heads on them. You can get tomatoes. You can get cheese. You can get all kinds of things. And it's enclosed in a structure. Okay, so a covered market is the opposite of the open air markets or the farmers markets, as you might say. Okay, so that's extremely important right there. Then if you look at these articles, if we look at the L31-31-15, it says in the territories where the health state of emergency has been declared. Okay, no need to go any further. Because whatever this document is talking about, it's talking about where the state of emergency has been declared. The Prime Minister can, by decree, choose the measures to guarantee public safety, public health, etc. Okay? But the key thing here is where the state of emergency has been declared. Okay? Number 16, same thing. Where the state of emergency has been declared, the health minister can buy, this is the killer thing here as well, by an arrêté motivé. An arrêté motivé is not a decree. Okay? Because in the hierarchy of legislation, you have your laws. The government makes the laws, right? You can have the Senate who can vote on them and propose them. Either the government proposes them or the General Assembly can propose them. Okay, then they vote on them and they become a law. Then the next step down, you've got decrees, and the government passes decrees. And then you've got the arrêté, and the arrêté they're like orders, but they're further down the list, right? Mayors can issue arrêté, whereas the government issues the decrees. The General Assembly, and they're all out on vacation at the moment, so the government is having a field day passing their decrees. Okay? So that's the second point that's really important. So then we just go to the last article that was cited, L31-31-17, and this one says when the Prime Minister or the Health Minister has taken the necessary measures mentioned in L31-31-15 and L31-31-16, which means when they have declared the state of emergency, here's what they can do. Right? So now, if we go back and we look at the text from July 10th, they stopped the state of emergency. It's over. Okay? So when they want to go and change the measures, specifically referring to these articles that I just showed you, these articles aren't relevant because we're out of the state of emergency. Health emergency is over. Okay? So right there's a big problem. But the other thing is that this is the big thing here. The by an arrêté motivé. I hope you're following me with this on this. So why is this the key piece of information? Because what we're looking at are decrees. They're not arrêtés. Okay? They're decrees. So when they're talking about all of this stuff, right, and they go to Article 38, right, they make specific reference to Article 38. Right, they make specific reference to Article 38 because where's the little thing that, okay, when we modify the big document, it says we're inserting this line before the first line of Article 38. So when you look at Article 38, it says, it makes reference to Article 3, which is at the very beginning of this document. It's simply saying, because, well, I'm just walking you through what I did myself just so I could understand it. When you get to the very beginning, this is the very beginning, they're talking about the social distancing, okay, which is right here. How everybody is supposed to be social distancing and all of this kind of stuff. Okay, and they're saying that if you have groups and meetings and activities and things that, you know, you have to respect the social distancing in these things. Okay, so if we go back to the Article 38, so they're saying, they're telling people that you can't have groups of bigger than 10 people and things like that. And then you get to Article 38 and it says the measures mentioned in Article 3, which I just showed you, do not prohibit covered markets, actually markets, covered or not, to receive more people than the number that was fixed, that was set in Article 3. Okay, so that's what this thing is about. So what they're saying is they're going to insert right here, they're going to insert the line, which is the wearing a mask will be mandatory in covered markets. Okay, that's going to go here. The mask will be mandatory in covered markets. And given the measures in Article 3, there's no obstacle that doesn't prohibit markets, covered or not, from having more than 10 people. Okay? So why is this interesting? This is interesting because what does covered market mean to a French person? What does it mean? What is the legal definition of a covered market? And as the lawyer points out, we know it's not a boutique. We know it's not a shop. We know it's not a supermarket because this is specific to Article 38. And you see they make the reference to the markets, covered or not, right? But this sentence is about the number of people that can be gathered in the market, open air or not. But if we look at Article 37, Article 37 is about shops, restaurants, bars, and hotels, lodgings, right? And again, it says in the departments where the health crisis is in play, when the ball is in play, they can close down shopping centers and all of this stuff. But what I'm trying to show you is in this section, they make reference to shopping centers, malls. These are malls. Okay, these are shops. And any activity that is listed in Annex 3. Okay, so they define the activities that they consider are activities in a shopping center, in a shopping mall. And if we look at Annex 3, it's pretty much everything. Let's go to Annex 3. right here, right? It says they're referring back to Article 37, which I was just showing you. And here's the whole list. I'm not going to read the whole list, but I'm just going to show you supermarkets, big gigantic supermarkets, produce shops, all the, how it's like we have, you've got your little center town village shop with all the different merchants there selling. You've got the butcher, you've got the baker, the fishman, and the fish guy. What do you call the guy who sells the fish? So anyway, this is the list of everything. All the kinds of shops that they're referring to in Article 37. But the point here is that a supermarket is not a covered and enclosed market in the sense of French legal definition of a covered market. Okay? So this is how we get out of having to wear the mask in all the shops, all across, wherever you're going, whatever you have to do. Not gonna do it. And so, like I said, I printed out all of this stuff. I've got all these documents. And now that I've got all this information in my head, I'm just going to use this to get off the hook. And what he pointed out as well in all of these documents is when you look at these references, there's another one I think he mentioned, there's no penalty mentioned anywhere. I don't think I printed that one out, but he shows on the screen where there's no penalty is actually mentioned in this document. And the principle of legality, he says that quite often, is that you need to have a clear connection between what's wrong and the penalty you're going to pay for doing what was wrong. And it's not mentioned anywhere. And the reference that is made to a sanction of some sort is only, here it is. This is the part where they're talking about the penalties that you would have to pay. So there's 3 categories, right? But he explains very clearly that this is in a certain type of legal procedure where you might have 6 months of prison and 10,000, a fine of 10,000 euros, but that is not related to the mask. Then there's another situation, these situations, where you would have 6 months of imprisonment and 10,000 euros, a fine of 10,000 euros. But again, that is not related to the mask. So the one that is related to the mask is this one, where it says any other kinds of obligations that you don't follow, that are in application, that are related to these articles, you will be punished with a fine, etc., blah blah blah, the fourth type of fine. Sorry, I'm translating this poorly because I haven't slept in over 30 hours. Anyway, so what he's saying is this case doesn't relate to the masks. This case doesn't relate to the masks. This one could possibly relate to the mask because it's referring to any other obligations that you aren't following. But the obligations that you're not following are related to these things. And these things are the things that I just showed you that are relative to a state of the health emergency. The state of emergency, health emergency, which is over. And that is why they cannot fine you, because the text says exactly what it says. You can be fined if you break the rules or you don't follow the rules that relate to the situation. And we are no longer in that situation. Okay? As of July 10th, it's over, the state of emergency. So this is some really clever, I don't know if they did it on purpose, the mentioning of it being an arrêté as opposed to a decree. I mean, are they that amateurish? that they didn't read it properly, or they don't know what they're doing, or they're just going and playing fast and dirty because everybody's at the beach and the government is just like amongst themselves doing, when I say the government, it's the prime minister, right? And his ministers, who are doing this while everybody else is trying to have some vacation somewhere. So guys, I've already been thrown out of shops. Before this thing kicked in on Monday, I had been already kicked out of a few stores because I didn't have the mask. And I don't know, did you ever see the movie, I think is it Summer Rental, an old movie where you have the guy going through the lobby going, "Rats, there's rats in the food, there's rats in the kitchen, or rats, I tell you." And so when I've been getting kicked out of shops, I walk out saying, "I'll give my money to someone else. I'll give my money to someone else." And so that's what I've been doing. And I mean, it's not fun. So I took a walk around my village over the weekend. I took a walk through my village and was amazed to see that everybody had the signs up, with the various and sundry ways that they're telling people they have to put the mask on. And I walked in just to see how far I could get in. And this is before Monday, right? This is like Saturday that I was walking around. And one woman, snooty woman with her, they all have their masks on, obviously, in the stores. And snooty woman says, "May I ask you to put a mask on, madam?" And I said, "No, you may not, because I don't have one." "Oh, well, in that case, I'm going to have to ask you to leave." And I said, "Well, that's fine then. I'll just give my money to someone else." And she started saying, "Well, isn't that just the perfect reply from such an asshole type of person?" Or something. Like, she said something literally like that as I was walking out the door. And I was just like, wow, this is getting really, really strange. So like I say, this whole thing has been really weighing heavily on me because I'm not putting the mask on. I'm just not going to do it. And I knew that there was something, I knew that there had to be something that wasn't quite right with this. And like I say, a couple of hours ago, I came across this guy's video and I took the time to really go through it to get it clear in my head what he was actually saying. I think I listened to his video like 3 times. So anyway, I hope this is kind of useful for you. I know you're not here in France, or maybe some of my listeners are here. But just go and, look at the actual documents, because the guy, he was livid in his video because he's saying, nobody's capable of actually reading these texts, and all we're hearing about in the media is you have to wear the mask everywhere, but it says right here that you don't, and he's like, what are you not getting about this? So he's quite livid about how this thing is being handled, and rightly so. And so that's really what I just wanted to tell you before I turn off the machines and go lie down for a little while. So, guys, I hope you're doing as well as possible wherever you are. Maybe having some fun in the sun if you can manage that. Oh, yes, I'll just leave you with this. I am still in Paris. You know why I'm still in Paris? Because my airline canceled my flight. So I couldn't get to Italy like I go to Italy. I take like 1 week of vacation, if I can do that, in the year. And so the airline canceled my flight. So I'm stuck here. My friends are all on the island having fun, and I'm here looking at decrees and telling you about them. So that is that, guys. I hope you're doing well. I already said that. I'm repeating myself. It's time to get some sleep. I will be back, guys, with hopefully a better video than this one. And let me know what you think in the comments, as always. And that's it for now. Cerebra Sana, heading off to bed. Bye, everybody.